But I am Ruth Hackney. I am the CEO at the Realtor Association of South Central Wisconsin, and I have with me today your president in 2020. She's got the best year ever, Cindy Ulsrud. Both Cindy and I have made the commitment to excellence, and we are endorsed with the C2EX. So we're really excited to talk to you about it today and why it's really important. Just a few housekeeping again is that the chat feature is how we're going to be communicating. I'm going to be keeping an eye on that. So if you have questions, I can answer those questions either in the chat function or we'll wait till the end and go through those questions if they didn't already get answered. So feel free to communicate via chat. And again, if you want to send it to the whole group, you choose all panelists and attendees. But if you want to just send it to us, then just have it be all panelists. You can also, if anybody was here early on, you can also raise your hand and then I can actually unmute you and you can actually chat with us and the group. But we'll wait to answer any of the raised hands until the end, just again, so that the flow goes a little bit easier. So anything else to add, Miss Cindy?
Nope, I think that covers it for little housekeeping stuff.
Perfect. Well, I'm going to get started with the kind of the big question is why are we here, right? What is C2EX? What is the commitment to excellence? There's a video that the NAR created actually just recently because they have a 2020 challenge that they have going on right now about C2EX. And we're going to play that in just a second. But what I want to say really quickly is that C2EX is actually an award-winning program that allows agents to evaluate, enhance, and showcase the highest levels of professionalism. And what's really neat is over 50,000 agents across this country have already started that process. And in Wisconsin, though, it's only 500. So you're in a state where you can really set yourself apart by participating in the commitment to excellence. So something I highly recommend, but I'm going to go ahead and play that video for you. Maybe, where did it go? All right. We are gonna, okay. Now I've got it. All right. So make this large and we'll go ahead and play this video.
Real estate law. Test your skill level with technology, client services, real estate law, and 8 more key elements of professionalism. Take the NAR Challenge. C2EX is NAR's Commitment to Excellence program. Log on to C2EX.Realtor and take the self-assessment that measures your proficiency in each of 10 elements of professionalism. 11 for brokers. Test your knowledge. See how you stack up to your fellow realtors. It's easy. It's available 24/7. Based on your results, the platform generates customized learning paths, recommended experiences, and provides tools and resources to increase your knowledge and enhance your skill sets. The end result? You. Only better. Wow your clients with your proven commitment to excellence.
Okay, so were you able to see that? Okay, good. All right. So I'm going to go ahead and start asking Cindy some questions. Hopefully she knows all the answers. I will share the link to this video with you. It looks like some people couldn't hear the volume, so I'll share the link to the video with you. But we're going to start out by asking Cindy, you've made the commitment to excellence. Why? Why was it worth your time?
Well, you know, for me, I'm always looking for something that can kind of set myself apart from everybody else in the industry, especially now when you're going into listings and competing with other agents. I think it's really important to sell yourself and to sell your services. Being in business for 20 years, I want to continue to grow and learn a lot of things. And I think designations are huge. And, you know, I wish more agents and more brokers would start to push the designations a little bit more. This program just really gave me a lot of different ideas and way to do business. It gave me a bigger understanding of maybe some of the things a little bit more intricate that I didn't know, than I did before, or remind me, of some things as well.
Excellent. And you're definitely a big advocate for designations, correct?
I am huge. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm a huge advocate. There's so many of them that, granted, there are some people that have like 25 behind their name. But each one of them, honestly, is very important as well. And I think you have to kind of key in on what's important to you, and kind of go down that path as far as, do you want to like SRES, or do you want a CRS, or do you want to do ABR with Accredited Buyers Agency? But this is kind of a really awesome program that's very well rounded. And the beauty of it is that it's generated to you. It's personalized right to you. So that's kind of nice.
Yeah. We always joke around, it's like alphabet soup, some of those designations. You really got to do some digging to find out what's going to fit for you and your business model. So tell us, I know time is always an issue. How much time did this take for you to actually achieve it? And what did that time look like? Was it big blocks of time? How did that look for you?
I think that's the beauty of the program, is that it's set up to where you can do it anytime you want. It's not to where you're sitting in the class during a certain time in a certain day. You can do it at 6 o'clock in the morning. You can do it at 8 o'clock at night. You can do it on Saturdays and Sundays, and you can do blocks of time, an hour here, an hour there. For me, I kind of powered through it a little bit, only because once I got into it, I wanted more and more and more behind each module. It probably took me a few weeks to go through it. But, I think it's really dependent on you, and that's the beauty of the program. There's 11 assessments, 12 if you're a broker, and it builds, like I said, you go in, you do a self assessment, and then it builds the program for you, and then you can go through it at your own speed. What I would encourage people to do, just so it kind of doesn't get away from you and it kind of gets into repetition, is maybe put a block of time into your schedule every single week that's going to be committed to the C2EX program, and go in at a certain time, certain day, and work on it and do it. But the beauty of it is you can do it as quick as you want, or you can spread it out for as long as you want, anytime, day or night, and any day of the week.
Yeah, good point. I achieved it, in my spare time as well, just trying to find it. It took me a lot longer. I think it took me about 6 months to actually get through the process, because I did take it a little bit more slowly. So you can really power through and get it done in a few weeks, or depending on your schedule, you can take 6 months. It doesn't expire, which is really good. So Cindy, I think probably a big question, and looking at the names on our attendee list, there's some people who've been in the business a long time. You've been in the business a long time. Did this teach you anything new?
It did, and that's kind of the beauty of it. I mean, I have a personal challenge for myself that no matter what seminar I'm going to, no matter what program I'm going to, even if it's something that's offered every single year, I try and challenge myself to find something new each and every time I do something, or each and every segment that I go through. I try and find something that's new or different, maybe a different way that I can ask questions, or format my business, or market myself differently than I didn't know before. Also, as far as learning, whether you've been in business, you're brand new, or you've been in business 20 years, 30 years or more, I think that's the beauty of it, is that you always have to challenge yourself to learn something new. And this program is great, especially for people that have been in the business for a few years. It's kind of a little challenging if you're brand new in the business, but you can still get a lot of great tips out of it. But especially if you've been in the business a long time and you're a seasoned broker or a seasoned agent, I think it's even more important to go through the program, to pick up things and to do business differently and set yourself apart from any other agent or broker that's out there doing business every day.
Yeah. I think one thing I maybe want to jump in right now and share is just the home screen, so you know what it looks like. That video very briefly showed it, but I think that, oh, let me find it. But it's a good explanation of what you mean when we talk about it being customized to you. Here it is. Okay. So this is my home screen for my C2EX, and you have a dashboard, and if I was still working on it, I would have notifications here that things I needed to complete still. But right now what I have is things that I'm still working on. So I actually have the achievement, but there's plenty of these engagement things that I'm actually still working on. So the nice thing is it's not a one and done. You're constantly learning. And Cindy and I were talking yesterday. We go back in from time to time because maybe we need to work on surveys or something of that sort. So we are constantly educating ourselves. And then when you're actually working on the endorsement, this is the list of competencies that they're testing us on. And so you'll take a test on each section and it will say, you know, you need to take these 3 in order to complete the section. Cindy maybe only needed to take 1 because she's been in real estate for a long time. So it's very customized. And the really cool thing too is even though you may not have to take 1, you still can. It's still an option. So you're constantly striving to kind of set yourself above, and you can take as much or do as little as you want to kind of get through this process. So pretty neat system that they have set up, and it's been active for just about 2 years. Cindy, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. So I think you kind of already covered this, but who do you think would benefit from C2EX?
Yeah, we talked about that a little bit earlier. Like I said, I think anybody, you know, even if you're brand new in the business, it's a great program to start to pick up different ideas as you start to hear things and are out in the field doing things. Experienced agents, always good. Brokers, really awesome. You know, I wish more brokers and managers would talk about it more and talk about designations more in their, you know, sales meetings and in their offices. This isn't really, you know, a designation per se.
It's an endorsement.
It's an endorsement.
Yeah.
And, you know, it's something that is over and above, you know, like Ruth mentioned, there's items when you get your list, there's items that are C2EX required, and then there are some that are recommended. And then you can continually go back, even after you have your endorsement, you can go back and pick up additional items, pick up additional tasks, surveys, you can create surveys. You can completely customize it to you, your office, your agents, I mean, anything like that. But I really think, you know, looking at the list, you know, of people, there's a lot of agents here that have a lot of experience. And it's just, that's the beauty of it, you know, is it's sharing ideas and trying to commit yourself to that excellence of service level for clients, customers, as well as, you know, working with each other as agents.
Yeah. Well, one of the things, I mean, I'm coming at it, I've been an association executive now for 13 years. And one of the things that I found really rewarding was the education around client services. That's a side I don't really deal with on a day-to-day basis, but it doesn't just talk about the code of ethics and real estate law, both incredibly important things, but it actually gives you assignments to reach out to your clients and to contact your sphere and to do things that you should be doing. So it's actually a really great broker tool if you've got maybe somebody on your roster who needs that little bit of push, because those assignments actually need to be completed in order for you to move to the next level. So it is about business building as much as it is about professionalism, which I think is wonderful.
Yeah. There was a message, you know, from share of the cost. You know what? That's the beauty of it, because it's free, which is awesome.
Yeah.
When you do the self-assessment, it's interesting because you do the self-assessment and you kind of think, oh, I'm pretty good with social media or technology or something like that. And then you do the assessment and you're like, whoa, it kind of comes back to where your strengths and weaknesses are.
Mm-hmm.
And some of them you might be surprised. I was a little surprised that I was like, yeah, I'm pretty good at social media. And I'm like, oh, geez, that's in my assessment. I need to work on that a little bit more. So it's kind of nice because it takes a nice little spin and brings out your strengths and weaknesses and builds that program for you individually. So it's really great.
Yeah. And Cindy, you and I both kind of talked about being a tool for brokers. And what I think is really neat is that they have actually incorporated some administrative capabilities for brokers into the C2EX platform. There's actually a conference call today at 1:30 p.m. And if anybody's interested, I'd be happy to get you the registration information for that. And they're kind of going to go a lot more into the administrative side. But one of the things that you can do as a broker is, first of all, your office, if more than, I think it's 80% of your agents within an office have the C2EX endorsement, you can be a certified C2EX office. And that means that you can use branding that they will provide. I mean, how powerful would that be? Especially in a state where only 500 people have even started this process, where you can say, my brokerage is committed to excellence, and here's the proof. So something that's very powerful. But with those tools, they've created the ability for you to put your brokerage logo into the tools. You can add additional materials. So maybe in a section about real estate law, you would add a form that you have developed for your brokerage or something of that sort. You can actually assign specific tasks to your realtors, so or to the agents that you have in your office that are taking it. You can pull progress reports. So on those, staff meetings or those agent meetings, you can say, hey, I see Cindy's really pulled ahead. Anyone else want to catch up with her there? And kind of really create, or I guess maybe abuse the inherent competition that real estate agents tend to have. And then you can, of course, manage access to the system as well. So if you need to make any adjustments in that way. So there's a lot of tools that brokers can utilize for C2EX and set your brokerage. I mean, it's great for an agent to set themselves apart because we all know that you're independent contractors and you're out, hustling for your own business. But at the end of the day, you're also part of a brokerage. And if your brokerage can be that one level above, committed to excellence, I think everyone in the office wins.
Yep. I think a lot of times, the general public out there, when you're going out and talking to them and meeting and greeting them, and whether it's a listing presentation or, you're a buyer's agent or you're just agent to agent, it's so important to promote yourself and to sell yourself from the standpoint that you are committed to excellence. You are committed to providing the very best service possible for them. And this is what you've done to do it. And spend a few minutes and talk to those people, because that's going to set you apart from everybody else that's walking through the door with a lot of the same materials that you have. And I think that's something that we really need to bring back is, the power of who you are and, what you have to offer. And the C2EX program is an amazing program to do that, to help you elevate yourself to that commitment of excellence.
Mm-hmm. And again, back to what Cindy said, this is included in the dues that you pay to the National Association of Realtors. There is no cost to utilize once you've been endorsed, whether as an individual realtor or as a brokerage. There's no cost to use the marketing materials. They're provided to you at no cost. And how you use them is really up to you. Whether or not you bring them to listing appointments or put them on your ads in the newspaper or on social media or whatever it may be. But there's no additional cost, and so it's really beneficial.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's it for my questions. We did intentionally leave some time at the end just in case there was questions from anyone who is attending, we can go a little bit more detail into the dashboard. We can provide you, I'll provide you actually in the comment section right now, I'll provide you with a link to the broker's education, just so that you have that if you want it. But so right now, if anybody would like to type a question into the chat, or if you would like to raise your hand, we can unmute you and you can maybe ask us a question. If not, then we're gonna let you go on your merry way. But hold on, before you do, let me paste the broker. This it's quite the, but this is the registration link to the broker one. It's today at 1:30 p.m. if anybody would like to attend or even share that with their broker if they're not on this call. All right, Miss Ann Baranski has a question, so let's let her talk. Oh, look at that puppy. All right, we're asking you to unmute. All right, Ann, can we hear you?
Can you hear me?
We can. Perfect.
So I've been trying for almost a year to make this work. I go to the dashboard, and then I click on, say the first one is real estate law, and it gives me two options. It gives me assessment, and then it tells me, hey, you can only take this once, you might want to stop. So I do, and then below that it says you have tasks associated with this competency. So I click on that, attend a meeting, read about RESPA, read the Can-Spam Act, and then you have learning associated with this competency. So I click on that and it takes me back to the C2EX competencies. Where do I find this learning?
So you do need to take the test. So the idea is, yeah, you only have the one time to take the test, but that test is going to tell you what your key learning areas need to be. So I think maybe what I'll chat with NAR, see if that language can be, because that does sound fairly confusing, but you can't move on without taking those assessments, because that takes you to the next step.
Okay, so you take the assessments first, it shows you where you're weak, and then you move on.
Exactly.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yep, that would explain it.
Yeah, and that's what I was talking about before. I probably didn't explain it the best, but you go in and you take those assessments tests, and then that, depending on how you do in the test, that will build your program. And sometimes with those each individual modules, if you test stronger, you're going to have less items in your module, where if you need a little bit of work, then they're going to give you more tasks in those modules. So once you take that test, then it'll build that program for you in each category.
And don't worry, those tests aren't pass fail. It doesn't go on your permanent record. It's just so that you have an idea of where your weaknesses and strengths lie.
Thank you.
Absolutely. All right. I don't see any other hands raised, but I do have a question for Sherry in the chat function. She's asking if the marketing tools include a flyer that explains to buyer what C2EX is. And yes, they do. There's quite a bit of content that explains what the commitment to excellence is and explains it in a way that you can share with your buyers or sellers. Okay, all right, we're gonna give just another couple seconds for anybody to raise their hand or just type something in the chat. And I'm not seeing anything. All right, well, I sincerely appreciate you all being here this morning. We are really, really excited about this C2EX. I think it is one of the most amazing programs that NAR has created. And the great thing is again, you can do it at 6 a.m. or you can do it power through like Cindy did and really get it done in a quick amount of time. So highly recommend you do a little bit more investigating into this program. The website, if you need it, is c2ex.realtor. And I don't know if you have anything you want to close with, Miss Cindy.
Just thanks for everybody for taking a little bit of time today. This actually was your first step to commit to excellence.
Yes.
And hopefully you'll continue to work on your program if you're working on it right now. Reach out to us once you complete it. And then you'll probably be seeing a little bit more of this in our newsletters coming up. And then if you haven't started, dip your toe in there and see what you think.
Yeah, absolutely. We can't wait to see you in person too, Sherry. All right, everyone, you have a wonderful, wonderful day, and we will hopefully see you soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you.
Bye.